Today we're looking at the lock tilt window system from Vision Hardware. The first generation lock tilt window is just like it sounds. The operation of the tilt latches is done from the actual lock housings. The interesting thing about the Vision, one of the interesting things about the Vision lock tilt system is the way we came to these setback points. So when the tilt latch is put into the extrusion, there's three separate setback points. The first being 4 inches, 6 inches, and 8 inches from the edge of sash. 4 inches is based on the smallest sash that you could weld in a 4-point welder at 14 inches, which would put you roughly 6 inches from the edge of jamb. So that means that you'd be 6 inches from the edge of jamb to the center of lock, and 6 inches from center of lock to center of lock, and 6 inches from center of lock to edge of jamb, which makes you third, and a third, or window symmetrical. So it looks very balanced, even in the smallest size window you could make in a 4-point welder. In the most common small size, a 24-inch wide window, you'd be 6 inches from edge of jamb, then 12 inches from center of lock to center of lock, then 6 inches from edge of jamb, which would be quarter, half, quarter, or again, window symmetrical. As the windows get bigger, you can go to further and further setbacks in, so the windows look balanced and the locks aren't all the way at the edge of the sash. Another interesting thing about the Vision lock tilt is it goes together very simply. Depending on which corner cleaner you use, the Rotox or GE, for instance, is just a simple program change to make the route for the down rod to insert. The route is only a 1/4 inch wide by roughly 3/4 inches long, and a cylindrical plunge on the side allows the tilt latch to lock in place with these clips and spurs so it doesn't rotate in the housing. So depending on the size of the window, the corner cleaner will pick the hole location. The applicator slides the tilt latch in, then there's a hook at the bottom of the lock housing which you point towards the astragal and turn a 1/4 turn, and it locks in place. Once it's locked in place, it cannot come disengaged from the tie bar. In over 3 years of producing this system, we've not had one disengagement or one failure to date. One of the most common versions of our lock tilt system is the lock that you see here. We make this in a bigger projection for a bigger sash and a lower projection for a smaller sash style. The beauty of the Vision lock tilt is the operator is very small and fits under virtually any lock housing. We currently have at least 15 different lock versions that'll work with the lock tilt system, or you could design your own lock tilt housing to work on your window to maintain your identity. This style, which we call the retro style, this style, which we call a contemporary style. This is a low projection type contemporary version in the different colors and simulated finishes, and then in a very, very low profile, as you see here. It's also available, these are all top mounts, it's also available in a flush or recessed mount and a semi-flush, semi-recessed, and top mount. So the versions that you've seen of the lock tilt so far are screwed versions, or exposed screw versions, where they're screwed from the top. This is a screwless version of the lock tilt, where it drops into 3 routed in ovals and snaps into place. Another hidden screw version is as you see here, where you fasten a plate down, and then this comes over the plate and fastens in through the face of the lock. So the first generation lock tilt, as we said, you could use any different lock style, whether it's top mount, top screwed, screwless, or hidden screw design, in a multitude of different lock designs to maintain your identity. You could even use different lock designs in the same region where you may have several large customers. The fabrication is all the same all the way through, and it's just a matter of changing the lock housing on the line. So this is the first generation, and it's just like you would imagine. You unlock the locks, and the window opens, and then the sashes will tilt in for cleaning as so, and it would lock back into place. Very clean, very neat, very easy to use, very reliable, doesn't create a bottleneck on the line, goes together very simply with minimal instruction of a minute or less in any language. The second generation of the lock tilt is a single lock version where the single lock operates both tilt latches, not shown here today. The third version of the lock tilt is where we change the tie bar and tilt latch housing, change the geometry of the bolt to create an impact tilt latch where the latch actually goes over a retainer clip that goes into the jamb. We use a heavier stainless steel spring in the housing so that when it it's put under impact, it acts like a net, and it takes the impact, it expands, and then goes back after the impact. This goes in pre-weld and slides down with a pressure fit you see on the side. You see the screw hole here. That screw is meant to be screwed through the jamb and into the subframing of the structure on site, so that when it is put under load, the load is transferred through the tie bar, through the tilt latch, through the retainer clip, through the jamb, and into the subframing of the existing structure. What it yields is an impact tilt window that looks just like a residential window. Very clean, no heavy bulky tilt latches on the surface mount, and the uptick or the benefit of this system is it uses the same processing as the regular lock tilt. All you do is change the tilt latch housing and the retainer clip, and obviously your glass would have to be changed for you to meet impact requirements, and that would be proved out through testing. But the difference in cost is minimal, less than $1 from a regular window to an impact window as far as the actual hardware is concerned. So now the next, we did the first generation was just standard lock tilt where the locks operate the tilt latches. Second generation was a single lock version that operates both tilt latches in a custom sized window. Third generation is an impact version of the lock tilt window. And fourth generation is our newest and most unique design. And the fourth generation is where the locks operate the tilt latches, but in the closed and locked position, the tilt latch bolt projects under a cleat in the jamb, a fixed cleat in the jamb, so that when you unlock the locks, the sash can operate. But if I was to close this now and lock the locks, the sash is actually locked in position, and you can't open the window. Now the benefit of that is we have a limited travel balance system for the upper sash that limits the travel of the upper sash to 3 7/8 inches, which is the maximum requirement for WOCD so a child doesn't fall out of the window. So now you could leave the top sash open 3 7/8 inches, lock the bottom sash, and no one can break into your house. So it becomes a 4-point multi-point locking double hung or single hung with a limited travel top sash. Now, when you unlock the locks and open it, you can still tilt the sash in for cleaning. You can still tilt the top sash in for cleaning. So it gives you the benefits of being able to clean your windows, tilt the sashes to clean the windows, but also gives you the security benefit of locking the sashes so you can leave it and get ventilation from the outside, not have to worry if you leave the house or at night by leaving your window open for ventilation. So now the next thing, when you unlock the locks from the 4-point multi-point locking system, the sash will open to 3 7/8 inches again. So now it opens to a vent position. You see it can't open any more than that. But when I override the vent, clicking on each side, it'll open for full ventilation, and then obviously for tilt for cleaning for either sash, and then snap back into place, and then automatically, you heard that click, re-engage to 3 7/8 for venting. Once again, I override it, automatically re-engages for venting. So what this window system yields is a vinyl double hung window that looks as much like a wood window as possible. We've eliminated the vent stops. We've eliminated the tilt latches. We've eliminated the WOCDs and all the processing that goes along with that. And by the way, by not cutting into the face of the window or to the sash, it eliminates the draft and the blowback associated with that, and the dirt and debris on the line in the factory. But it yields a very clean looking window that looks very much like a wood window, but performs like a premium vinyl window. It gives you the venting option. It gives you the tilting sashes. It gives you the lowest air infiltration possible. It gives you 4-point locking for security. It gives you venting on the top sash so you can get air without having to worry about someone breaking into your house. It gives you all the things you want in the most premium high-end window with the cosmetic appeal of the highest-end wood window. But when you back out the cost of all those parts associated, it's virtually free. When we started the lock tilt system, and we call it a system because we've really put a lot of thought into this, how to implement it into the ultimate product line, the good, better, best line. And we started with the good window. And on the good window, we came up with the 7200 tilt latch. which is 7200 tilt latch, is used by routing or punching an oval into the corner of the sash, but not through the corner of the sash. So this rolls down into the corner of the sash and leaves roughly a 1/2 inch to 5/8 of your corner intact. If you look at the tilt latch, you'll see the vinyl from the corner projects into the side of the tilt latch. And the whole tilt latch body moves as the tilt latch. So it's cantilevered into your corner of your sash, making for the strongest sash possible. By not routing into the corner of the sash, the route can't open under load and the tilt latch roll out. So you're much more likely to get a DP50 in this one than you would with a routed in tilt latch. We even put little ribs on the back of the tilt latch bolt to grab onto the jamb more under load to help you get that DP50. And the beauty of this as a system is it's the same processing. So the route for the side, if you use a Rotox or GE cleaner or one of the other programmable cleaners, it's a simple program change to do the plunge route and the top oval to use this tilt latch with a standard lock and keeper. So if you're using this in your good window, you can then upgrade to our impact version. So the impact version works in conjunction with the retainer clip, but it works in the same processing. So the same processing, roll in tilt latch, standard lock and keeper, retainer clip in the jamb, and now you get impact in your good window. When you move up to your better window, like you see here, with this tilt latch and tie bar, it's the same processing again. Your corner cleaner does it all. The same plunge route on the side goes into the side, a simple 1/4 inch by 3/4 oval for the down rod to connect, and you have your better window, your lock tilt better window. And then you could also step that up to, like we showed you earlier, to the impact version of the better window, using the different geometry bolt and tilt latch retainer to give you impact in your better window. And then you step up to the next level to the extended travel bolt that gives you 4-point multi-point locking at the jamb, venting, 4-point limited sash travel at the top, and WOCDs. And you could actually step that up to the extended travel impact bolt and have impact on the 4th generation all-inclusive system. And the processing is the same through the line for all. The Vision Hardware lock tilt systems generations 1, 2, 3, and 4 work in rigid vinyl, unreinforced and reinforced with a multitude of reinforcements, in wood, custom and standard size double and single hungs, and cellular double and single hung windows. We also make matching non-lock tilt locks in left and rights for your 2 and 3 light slider windows. Available in all standard painted and plated finishes, also with simulated plated finishes.